Hello friends, welcome to Mentor Vikas channel. As this is the second video of Redux Saga, right? So here we are going to understand about the concept of generator function, right? So what basically is generator function is, which is being introduced with ES6, right? So to understand this, let's go to our example. Let's first, we will come back to this diagram after a while, right? So just see here what basically we have, right? So here we have a normal function, right? So here we have a normal function and we have a number of consoles, right? Just to execute this function, I just have to call this function, right? Like so. And if I just run this function here you will see that okay, all of these console are being printed, right? So it's I, then console, then cannot, then b, then stop, and all of these like in the sequence which is right there, right? Great. So this is what we have in normal function in our JavaScript. Great. So now take a look of what our generator function look likes, right? So this is the second example which we have here is our generator function. Okay. So this is our generator function, and here I am also going to do the same thing, right? Let's copy all these console from here to here, right? After this first where yield, I just copy paste this. In the second, I just copy this and paste it here, like, and in the third yield, I just copy this and paste it here, right? Great. Okay. So now, as you can see, here we have created an instance of this generator function, right? And here we have just executed the first executed our this object, right? So to get all the value what is being returned from here, I just uses this console. Okay. Great. So let's see what is going to happen. If I just run this, here we will see this is my first step, right? And as you can see, this is my first step, and from where it is coming from, it is coming from here, right? It is coming from directly here, right? Okay. So now just execute this second part, console.log object.next. Okay. So and as you can see also, here we have this cannot. So this is our first yield, right? So let's let's comment this and let's understand how the next our next command is going to work. So as you can see, this time it does not executed the whole, right? So it does not executed that cannot be and stopped altogether as we have in our normal function, right? So it basically only execute this first one, right? If I just console on this, execute the same statement again, right? Let's see what is going to happen. Now we have cannot and the next b. First we have cannot and the next we have b, right? Let's execute it once more. Okay, run. Now we have cannot, b, and stopped. Here we have cannot, b, and stop, and all of these are executed in step by step. Okay. If I just don't execute these two codes, only this will execute. As you can see here, only cannot will execute, right? So now we only have this, right? Okay. And even though if you are just willing to have the value, right, you can just use like dot value, but it doesn't matter right now, right? So let's see how. So basically what is happening here, and if I just execute all the four console, as you can see here we have this cannot, then b, then stopped, and in our last execution we don't have anything else to execute, right? So if I just add one more yield here, right? Let me add something new, and 1 2 3 4, right? And if I just run it once again, here we will see all these four statements: cannot, be, stopped, and stopped 1 2 3 4, right? So now I'm pretty sure that you are thinking of okay, what is happening here, right? What is this generator function? Okay, so the one thing is very clear, right? So this function, which is also seems the same as of this normal function, is different, right? And as what is the difference? As you can see here, in our normal function we don't have any star, but as you can see here we are using a star, right? Here we have using this asterisk sign, right? And the second thing, as you can see here, we are also going to use this yield statement, right? So we have multiple yield statements, right? And after this yield we had executed our code. After this yield we executed, or we give our command, or we create a function, or we can return anything, right? And after this yield we have our function. So that is how this generator function works, right? So here we have two things. First one is the star and second one is yield. Okay, so let's move to that image that I had earlier shown you. So basically in a normal function, what basically happened, as you executed the function, it will start from the top and just go up until the finish. Okay, and if it is not so, it will go up to the return, where it get their first return function, and then that function will close, right? So at the next time whenever you start that function, it will again start from the very beginning and go to the end, start from the very beginning and go to the end, right? So this is our normal function. But what basically generator function different from this, here we have different block points, here we have different stop points, you can say, right? So as initially you execute the code, right, as initially you executed your function, it will simply go to the first block. Okay, is this first block section, right? So this is our first block of code, right? And then we have our second block of code, and then we have our third block of code, right? So this is how the generator function works. So when you executed it first time, it started from here and it stopped here. Okay, so it doesn't die, right? So this function doesn't die here, it just stopped here, right? And waiting for the next instruction to execute the further codes, right? So here we have created multiple push points, right? So this yield is a push point, right? So the code started from here and it goes up until here, right? And as it reaches to the yield point, it stopped there, right? It stopped its execution. So once again you hit the next, as you can see here we are hitting this next, as you can see here we have executing this next method, right? So as you executed the next method, it will again start the code directly from here. It's not again started from here, right? It started from here and it goes up to here, right? It started from here, goes up to next yield point, and if it further find some another yield point, right, push point, so it will stop there. And if it is not there, it will just reach to the finish line, right? And by all these steps, this is how a generator function works and its execution happens, right? As you can understand what basically a generator function is. Okay, so now understand about these. What is this? As I console these values, right, as I console these values, you will also have these object, right? And this object has two keys, this value and done, right? So what basically these values and done represents, right? So this value is basically if here in our case I am just executing that console, right? So if I am not going to do this, and if I just choose to just simply write this, right, as you can see now, if I just run this, right, you have this cannot here, right? So this cannot is, so what basically our generator function understand from here, right? So we have to return this. Okay, so in our previous case where I'm using that console, it will giving me the instruction, okay, console this, right? But if I'm not using this console, it giving our computer it giving so basically it gives an instruction to return this. Okay, so whatever the value is returned from this yield is being stored in this value part, right? So let's remove all these console so that you can understand what is happening here in a proper manner, right? So as of now I had just removed all my consoles, right? Okay, and now we have all our return statements. So all of these console statements now act as in return, right? So as we run all these, you can see here we have this cannot, this be, this stop, then this, right? And if I just execute this code once more, as you can see, now we have something different, right? Now we have this undefined and this done true. So as you can see here is the value. The value part basically represent what this yield statement is returning, right? What this yield part will return out of it, right? So whatever the value is being returned from here is being stored in this value part, right? So you can even access the value like this, dot value, right? If you just execute this and run it, now we have directly your value. You don't have these value and done part, but okay, but let's understand what is this done part is, what this done part represent. Okay, let's run it once again, and as you can see here, the value of this done keyword is false, this done keyword false, this done keyword false, this done keyword false, and this done keyword false, sorry, and this is the true, right? And as you can see here, the value part is undefined. So why it is so? Because here we have our first yield and we have something to return, so it returns, but this done part basically represents, is this function completed? Is this generator function completed? No, it's not completed. We have another yield, right? So it basically give me indication, okay, no, it's false, it's not done, right? So it comes to the next, then it returns a value that is b, right? And then it also asks again, is this function done? No, it's not done. We have another yield, right? So it's false. Then this executed, we have this stop, and then again, no, it doesn't end. We have another more, right? So it's false. So that we reaches to this part, it executed, and so it basically represents, okay, I have to wait here, right? And I don't know if anything further we have anything further yield or not, okay, because it basically stopped here, right? So it doesn't know anything about further, so it gives an instruction, okay, false. I am just here, I am not reached to that finish line, right? So it gives me a signal that, okay, false, the function is not end, right here, right? So when you executed this next, once again it will reaches to this closing tag, right? So when it reaches to this closing tag, it will have an signal, okay, this function basically ends here, right? So it give me a signal, okay, done, true, function ends here, right? And as you can see, value, now we do not have any else statement left, right? So basically if it gives me a return value of undefined. So in simple words, you can simply understand, if you are returning something by using yield statement, okay, then we have to understand this. If you are returning something at every yield point, right, you will have some value. If you don't return anything, you will have undefined, okay. And in our last section, in our last part, we have this undefined, and this done statement is going to be true, okay. This done keyword is going to be true. So this true represents that our generator function ends here, okay, right? So this is how a generator function works, and this is how a generator function is different from a normal function, and how you can execute this. And one more thing you have to understand here, every time you want to use this generator function, you have to create an instance, right? You have to create an instance of this generator function. You can't just simply execute directly from like generator.next. No, this is not going to be work, right? So you have to firstly create an instance, right? And after then you are able to execute like this, okay. So why I am focusing more on this its concept, because this is the basis of whatever we are going to learn in our Redux Saga, okay. Because in all of its application, Redux Saga works on a principle of generator function, okay. So it's very important to understand this. If you still have any questions about what is generator function, how basically it works, or at any point you are not able to understand anything, please ask your question in comment section, okay, and I will answer that, right? So I think for now it is enough, and we will meet you in our next video. Till then, have a nice day and goodbye.